MeTV 24 Meridian proudly presents your favorite way to start the day. Welcome to Mornings with Scotty Ray and Candace.
And good morning. It is already Monday.
It is. Monday.
Feels like I've run a marathon already. I've been up a little bit this morning.
This weekend just flew by. It didn't last long enough at all.
No, it didn't. Did you get anything done this weekend? Like y'all do family stuff?
No, we didn't do family stuff. I cleaned the house, and my husband's been working on a hood for above the stove, like a decorative hood thing to go up.
I thought you were going to say a man cave to get away from you.
No, we had to take the old one down, and
those hoods,
we were replacing the stove and everything.
Got to match.
We're fixing to get the cabinets painted, hopefully. So, yeah.
And if you have never taken down your own hood yourself, you would be shocked as to how much grease is hidden.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, we were like, we're not even going to try to clean this thing. We're just going to get something new. It was awful. I mean, horrible, because it's been up there for 24 years.
But you can't visibly see it until you start taking things apart. And then it's like, my God, it's like moving your refrigerator and the prizes that you find underneath your fridge or your couch.
Right. I called myself cleaning it several times throughout the years, I mean.
Thought you did?
Well, I thought I did until you take that little, I don't know what that is, that little aluminum foil looking little screen thing out. And
there it is. I attempted this weekend. I thought I was being good. I went ahead and cooked some deer sausage. And I'm not a cook, but I can cook deer sausage. So I put a piece of tinfoil in the bottom of the pan. Of course, it's got all the grease.
Yeah.
So then I take tongs and I set it over here where I can throw some eggs in there. And about the time that I got it set down on the eye, a hole come in the tinfoil and I dropped grease all over the stove. So
oh, gosh.
There goes my only cooking experience that I can tell you that I know absolutely nothing about.
Well, we finally got our stove hooked up, and I got to cook for the first time on a stove in like weeks.
So you got one now?
Yeah, we do.
Candace is back in business.
We changed to gas, so on our stove.
Now it cooks different. You're gonna burn a few things.
I did. Our sausage was a little well done, but it was good. But yeah.
Now, a hint to the wise that you may not know.
What?
You'll have to talk to your gas representative. They put this safety feature on them now. And the first time our power went out, I was like, well, how come the stove won't come on? It had a safety feature that the pilot, when you click that, it runs off electricity. Okay. It's not like the old days, and then it wouldn't work.
Oh, okay.
Ask them about that. Make sure that yours is...
He might have explained all that to Kurt. I don't know. I wasn't there when they hooked it up. So
yeah, I was sitting over there in the dark trying to click.
I just know I'm scared of gas. I'm scared. My husband knows that I'm just like scared. I'm going to blow the whole place up.
It won't hurt you.
So when I turned on the eye, it was like click, 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 click. And I was like, what's wrong with this thing? What's wrong?
I think the scariest thing that I was ever involved with was the barbecue grill on the back thing. And
I have had an incident with the barbecue grill.
You know where your line screws into your tank? Somehow or another, it got a crack in it, and fire was shooting out of it. And then I don't know, was brave enough or not smart enough, I went over to cut it off because something had to be done, and it was kind of spooky.
Yeah, well, we had, I had a barbecue grill. I used to have it. It's not there anymore, but something messed up on it, and so you had to, stick the lighter up in this little hole.
Yeah.
This don't even sound good already.
Your igniter was broke.
Right. The igniter was broke. So you'd stick the little lighter with the little long lighter up in the hole and then click the thing. And sometimes it didn't come on the first time. So you just click. And So I'm standing there doing this thing, and I wasn't real used to it anyway. This is not a funny. I mean,
yes, it is.
It is funny, but I thought my ponytail was going to be no more.
Because I know people that have lost eyelashes.
It went poof, and then, I felt the heat, come by my head. It was
Wait
scary.
till you don't have the little fire starter and you have to use paper and twist it and stick it down.
Oh, Lord.
But we've all been there.
Yeah.
Things quit, and, you gotta finish the steak.
Right.
You got to do what you got to do.
I don't recommend that, though.
Debbie Poole, good morning in Newton, Mississippi. Glad to see you. Laura Lee says she uses charcoal.
I love a steak on charcoal.
It does have a flavor, doesn't it?
Yeah, to me, it's the best. But Joyce Gressick, good morning. And Denise Burnside, good morning to you.
All right.
Hope y'all are having a good morning.
A couple headlines of first thing this morning. If you're watching us from the Collinsville area, Lake Ross, Collins, or anywhere around in there, get up at this point, go out and check your car. There is numerous reports of cars that have been broken into, possibly a gun taken from a car last night. Make sure that you weren't a part of this. I've spoken to the Lauderdale County Sheriff's Department. They're on scene taking reports of everybody. When we get more information, we'll know more. But that's bad. Your hard-earned money being taken by people that don't want to work to come take your stuff.
Right. I can't stand a thief.
So check your car while they're in the neighborhood. They can come by your home and make sure everything's okay. But check that out. I posted this just a few moments ago, and there is not a lot of details at this point, but it's forthcoming here soon from the Meridian Police Department as we find out there was yet another strong-arm robbery last night. Now, this was at the Relax Inn. What we do know at this point, the suspects were a black male and a white female were the two people that committed the crime.
Okay.
The person that was robbed, there's a big language barrier, which means trouble speaking English. So we'll get more details out of this, possibly, maybe, and I don't have a confirmation on this part, but maybe $1,000 taken from someone. I've got to have that verified.
Yeah.
We don't know. But they were working on that. And it's just a shame that this can happen. Now, this also goes back to other things that happened this weekend that we need to bring up too. Let me go down and find this picture that we put up about this incident that happened. This was the second one that happened this weekend in a matter of, 2 days? Is that right? Yeah. And I am,
It's becoming a regular incident around town.
As I look for this happened on Friday night. They were delivering a pizza, and during the course of the pizza, they got out to deliver it. The people, two black males with guns, robbed the pizza delivery guy and the person buying the pizza. And as I mentioned this morning, you got to keep in mind, people that buy pizza that walk out to pay, generally that's really all the money they have on them is just enough to pay for that. Well, they took that and the
pizza.
Yeah. I was trying to think of the word scoundrels. Isn't that just like crossing a line, taking your food too?
I know. You have crossed the line when you took the pizza.
It's about $100 is what they got. Is that worth spending time in jail over? No. But thankfully, these things that have happened have not led to anything any worse, as in, going
Somebody
further.
being hurt, yeah.
Correct.
Right.
I couldn't get that out either this morning, Candace.
I know. Although, depending on how hungry I was, if you tried to take my pizza, I might hurt you.
That's true.
Gosh.
And that's what went on with that. The pizza delivery guy right there. This is going to be where the little round building used to be there, the Trustmark Bank. And, of course, we've got the Children's Museum.
So right by the police department.
Yes, right over there is where it all happened. Here's Hooper's, the old building, and it happened on this 24th Street right in there. Which tells you these people don't care for law enforcement.
No.
They're showing, I can do this. What are you going to do about it?
Right. Well, there's a lot of that going on, I think, nowadays. Just like I said, the man coming out of the women's bathroom at Walmart.
Yeah.
I mean, he walked out with the confidence, I can do what I want to do. Yeah, what you going to do about this? So,
if there was a situation where you had to go and you had to go bad, you would have somebody stand at the door if you could and say that.
Yeah.
But that was
right. If the bathroom was shut down and you had an emergency or something. But, please stand here. So if a woman walks in here and I'm in here, yeah, you can let them know. No, this wasn't like that at all. This was and
it just goes on and on. So as we watch these crimes happen across, and again, let me remind you at this point, Meridian is not the only place. This morning's broadcast at 6:30, we went over a lot of things. Oh, yeah, somebody got shot in Jackson over the weekend, dead. 3 were shot, 1 died.
Yeah, this is not just an incident. These incidents happening in our town. It's happening all over this nation. But when it does happen in your town, I mean, it's just hitting home. You know,
it should make you mad and make you want to do something. And I urge everybody, if you don't have a neighborhood watch program set up, even if it's just text, you set up a group text to where if you see something, you hit a button and everybody that's in your neighborhood sees it, so they go to the window and look out.
Yeah.
As simple as that. You could do bigger and better if you want to, but have a network. That way the cops can get there a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
They can't be everywhere. They try. They work hard. But again, there's only so many of them. And, the bad guys know that. We had an accident over the weekend that a car flipped on I-20 at mile marker 125. I think everybody ended up being okay, but still, that's scary flipping your car.
Yeah. When was that?
That was
I want to say that my husband came up right
Saturday.
He saw right after that happened. Yes, he.
Oh, boy. Let's see here. On 6th Avenue in Meridian, there was also a car broken into. A gentleman's wallet. My voice quit there for a moment. His wallet and...
might happen to me in a minute.
It does happen where it just plays out. But his wallet and watch were taken. And this goes back to what happened at Lake Ross Collins. And I've gotten a whole lot better now. I think about that now because I see it every day.
Right.
If you got something valuable, take it inside. Everybody has been guilty. You get out your car and you don't lock it. But if you don't lock it, it doesn't matter where there's bad guys are going to get into it.
You got a mean dog, leave him outside.
Put him up in the car.
Yeah, put him in the car.
But
I know I joke about stuff. It's not, I know it's a serious matter, but seriously.
I get what you're saying.
You got a mean dog. It will protect your property. Leave him outside. Let him get a little.
Dogs don't like uninvited guests coming up. Well,
ours just don't, for sure. So.
I ain't messing with your dogs. I have visited your dogs.
Reese.
I don't. Oh,
Reese
boy.
he don't like.
Like I wanted to borrow something from your husband one time. He said, "Go over to the house and get it." I said, "No, I ain't." Nope, you bringing it to me.
I know a person that their dog. This is no lie. They have it's like I think it's some type of a healer dog.
Yeah.
It eats the tire. It like bites the tires and flattens them on the vehicles that pull up in their yard if he doesn't know them. I think the mailman.
Pretty strong.
Seriously, I don't see how a dog can do that. But she said he has several times. So you don't pull up in their yard. You better be watching who you pull up in the yard to rob.
Because they will get you.
You might leave with a handicap.
And do not think this. And let me point this out. Criminals survey areas.
Yeah.
And that's what everybody sees, like you'll see on Community Watched, where people put pictures of cars that ride by a lot. That's people casing the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Just pay attention to that.
Yeah.
Save it on your camera or off of your camera system or your phone in case something happens. A few days later, you go, well, this was suspicious activity in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Gives you a little something to go on.
Yeah. Somebody said, what's going on in Lake Ross Collins? There were cars broken into last night.
And Candace has an alibi.
It was not me.
Her husband says she was with him all night long. Nagging. He can prove it.
He probably would say that right about now.
Good morning to you. It's 12 minutes after the hour. We do hope you're doing good. Still cool, but it's going to be hot. And I say hot. We were at 32 at daylight, and it's going to get to 68 before the day is over. So we got more details on that coming up as we have storms on the way. As we talk about our friends at the Lauderdale County Farm Supply, they've been there since, about 1932? Ooh, that's a long time. Exit 151, same location. And if you're in the market for some Ariat shirts, they've got there. Now, if you're a working man and you need some FRs, and for those of you who have never wore FR, you go, what are you talking about? That's fire retardant clothing. Some jobs that you have require you to wear that to be able to come on the premises. And they've got jeans, they've got shirts, they've even got coveralls with this. So if you're in the market for that and got to have it to go to work somewhere, drop in and see them at the Farm Supply. Very popular. Not everybody's got that. So they've got that for you there at the Farm Supply. Check out that FR clothing. And, of course, socks, hats, warmers, and whatever you want to do with the socks after you get them home, right?
Right. You can use them as gloves.
Ariat T-shirts, we've got plenty of this, and regular blue jeans as well as we do this. And, well, hats. Everybody needs a good ball cap. Well, great overalls to keep warm. We're not over with winter just yet. Now, as you go to work, as we talk about the FR clothing, you got to have a good pair of boots in case, well, you work outside, you want something that's handy there. You can't wear tennis shoes on every job.
Right.
You got to watch out for nails and this, that, and the other, and that's where these Georgia work boots come involved. Now, as we wind down deer season, today is it. Yep. It'll be a change of the guard at home, as they say. Still plenty of anything that you want, and these are great for security as well, these deer cameras. See them today for all of this corn. If you're taking care of your pets, they've got this with horse, cattle, goats, sweet feed, all right there for you, including your pets, guns for protection, and ammo. See them at the Farm Supply. You'll find a little bit of everything there.
I was injured on my job, and I applied for Social Security, but I got denied. I thought that money belonged to me if I got hurt on the job. I just want to know how to get my money.
I'm attorney Richard Schwartz. Let me go to work for you and get the money you deserve.
Richard Schwartz cut through all that red tape, and now I'm approved and getting my benefits.
Call me, Richard Schwartz, and get the answers you need and the compensation you deserve. We know the law and we know how to help you.
And welcome back with Scotty Ray and Candace, as we were just discussing amongst ourselves that we might be getting old. It's starting to scare me.
I was saying my daughter turned 26 yesterday.
Whoa.
Can't believe it. Can't believe
She's
that.
getting up there.
Gosh, I can still see her scooting around in that little walker. You know, just learning to walk, and collecting everything on the tray.
You know, the ironic thing about that, for long, you'll be using the walker.
Probably so, yeah. This is a different kind of walker, though.
I know, but it is just...
They need those walkers like that for adults. That you sit in and you can spin around everywhere backwards. And
you know, that's not a bad idea.
It's not.
Because at some point,
It might be fun,
the
too.
guard changes of your parents took care of you, and at some point you'll have to take care of them. And it's just a sad part of life that that does happen there.
It does.
I want to report this also. Now, no one was hurt. We have no damage, but we did have reports last night of some gunfire in the Meridian area, and that comes to us off of, let me show this to where you sit, off Poplar Springs Drive. This is Hope Village. It was a blue car traveling down through here, and they just decided, well, why don't I just shoot out into the air? And they did that. Neighbors reported it quickly. Of course, they were moving quite fast when they done this, and they got away. But if you were in the area and heard that last night, that's what was going on. What makes people want to do this? Or just ride by and shoot somebody's car because they can?
Yeah.
We've seen lots of reports of that. Infuriates me.
It infuriates me, too.
Well, that's a big word for me on a Monday. Whew, scary. Y'all look out.
Until some stuff starts happening to these people that are doing these crimes, they're going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to come up on the wrong person and, you know, not walk away from it. So,
a little sketchy details on all of this, but on the 800 block of 2nd Street, Meridian, we had a door kicked in last night also. No reports that they got anything, but they did kick the door in. Also, the parking garage has really gotten to be the graffiti headquarters and a place to go to the top. I've only been to the 2nd floor of it one time when I went to the Temple Theater and Park there. I've never been any higher than level 2. But apparently the thing to do in Meridian now is drive all the way to the top and do donuts in your car.
really?
Yeah, what happens when you get a little sideways and you go, whoop?
You know, they need a security guard or something in there.
It'd be a
They've
good
got
thing.
a little booth that when you drive through, you know, there's a little booth there that somebody could sit in, but I don't really ever see anybody in there.
Oh, let me remember. Uncle Joe was paying everybody too much, and no one wants to work.
Now, I might be wrong. There could be somebody in there, but I've not ever noticed anybody in there.
I hadn't gone there enough. And again, as they try to fill police vacancies, there just isn't enough to go around. So what does that mean? It means that you have to be the eyes and ears of our community. When things go on, let us know about it. If the police don't know about it, when you let us know, I'll talk to them.
Right.
We got to take the bad guys out of this and take our cities, no matter where you're watching me from, whether it's Meridian, Philadelphia, if you're in Tennessee, you're in Florida, it doesn't matter. Or California, if you're watching from there. Take our cities back. We're tired of this.
That's right.
I think you agree with me, don't
Well,
you?
yeah. I mean, people want a safe and calm environment to raise their children, and when they get older, they want to grow old in a community that they grew up in or either lived in all their life and be able to feel safe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's gotten bad.
Do you ever see the post on Facebook that makes you go, it makes you smile and you laugh about it? Well, I saw this and it didn't make me feel too good. And the post said, have you realized that from the year 1918 to 2022 is 52 years and is the same thing from 1970 to 2022?
Yeah.
That doesn't even seem right.
I know. Because I was in my head going, are you sure? Like, are you sure that's the same amount of years?
It doesn't sound right, does it?
No, it doesn't. Mm-mm.
So at some point from right here, they'll be looking at 2078. Oh my God, we probably won't be around. It'll be our next generation taking over. But wow, that's just scary to look at it that way.
It
50
is.
years ago, 52 years ago to 1970.
But you know, all these actors that we talk about have passed away and all this stuff, you know, and I still picture them in my mind as they look 30 years ago or 40 years ago, you know, when I was little or something. I just still picture them like that.
And they ain't looking like it no more, are they?
No. No.
And now that you brought that up, let me get over here to this. This guy passed away over the weekend, and it spooks me to death.
8 tracks he's got?
It is. That's in radio. That's called carts.
Okay,
And
the 8 tracks were a little thicker than that one.
Well, it really is an 8-track, and what a cart was is what you played a commercial for on the radio. This is Johnny Fever from WKRP in Cincinnati. He passed away over the weekend at age 81. Can you believe that? Johnny Fever, who refused to play the top 40. As we go back and look at WKRP, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to YouTube. And I also posted the Great Turkey Drop on my page. You can scroll down a little bit and it'll be there to where they threw the turkeys out of the helicopter as a Thanksgiving promotion. And they learned that turkeys don't fly. Les Nestman, of course, that's Les. That was Herb, the salesman. Was that Bailey? Was that her name?
I can't remember.
Seems like his name was Rick, and that was Venus Flytrap, and that was Mr. Carlson, and of course she was just hot. Let's
Lonnie.
Woo. I forget what her character's name was on the show, but in a lot of ways, I kid you not, that really did represent radio from the 70s and 80s. It was fun. It absolutely was the most fun thing I ever done in my life until that became fun no more.
Yeah.
And that did happen. But it's so hard to believe that he's gone.
I know.
And so how is Lonnie Anderson now?
How old she would be. And I'm trying to picture any of these characters. Did they play in anything else after this? Or
Yeah, I never saw him in nothing. Herb was on the Love Boat once or twice. I did see him
I
make
was going to say maybe, yeah.
But
He kind of resembles Gopher.
and of course, Mr. Carlson, we all know somebody that inherited a company and their mama actually owned the company. That's who he always had to run to for approval was his mama.
Yeah.
We all know that type of business owner. Let me call mama real quick. But I had a blast. Angela White said it was hilarious.
Yeah.
I was just sitting here.
All those old shows. Now, the girl that you said was Bailey, she looks a little familiar, like maybe she's been in something else. I don't know.
And that is a possibility there. Now, he went on to do other shows, but Lord,
I remember the Head of the Class.
Yeah, I never watched that. And this is a picture from him in Head of the Class. I never watched that show at all. So Johnny Fever is gone from us this weekend. And as you say that, also, let's go back here. This is even sad as we find out the former Miss USA. Here's the headline here. Let me pull up Facebook right there. If you get a chance to read this. 30 years old.
So sad. She jumped from a building, committed
60
suicide.
stories.
So sad. You don't know what battle somebody is fighting in their own
That's right.
mind and in their own life. You really don't. And depression, they said that depression might have played a role in that.
Yeah.
Depression is an awful thing, and if you've never gone through it, it's just it's hard to, I guess, to sympathize with somebody about it if you haven't gone through it. It's not something you can just say, oh, just get out of the house and go ride around. It's not going to disappear. It's really like being in a boat and taking on water, and you just feel like you keep taking on water, and I've been there. It's a bad thing.
Now, and I guess the closest thing that I can relate to that, and this probably isn't even in the same level, that there was a time that I had to leave home to support the family. And I was gone 5, 6, really, I guess you could put my 9 to 10 years of the whole thing as I still traveled. But there was 3 to 4 years of it where I was gone. When you drove out the driveway, you never knew when you were coming back. It was the most horrible thing that I've ever done in my life. You couldn't talk to your friends, so you worked 6 to 7 days a week. When you talked to your family, it was on the phone, and you never got to see them. And I got to where, even when my friends called, I didn't answer the phone because I didn't want to be reminded of home.
Right.
I got off at, you worked 14, 15 hours a day, and when you got to that motel, you just sat there and stared at the wall. Very depressing. And I'm not that. There's people that love that love the adventure of seeing the United States.
There are people who I've not been one that would want to be on the other end of that either, like being at home and my husband being gone.
Right. I ain't one of those guys that want to see America by myself.
Yeah.
There's tons of you that love it. More power to you. But that ain't me. I have to say that was rough. And and you can't help but sit there and you think, God, what did I do that is so wrong to put me in this situation and be away from my family. And you think that,
Yeah.
what have I done? Am I paying for something that I done wrong? Maybe I was. And I finally got to come home. And thank goodness I'm sitting here talking to you this morning.
Yeah.
This is the greatest moment of my life.
But there's many, many different avenues that people go down that bring them to depression. There's
is.
a lot of things. I mean, and people who you'd never even think, are going through that, are probably going through that. And it's not something that a lot of people want to talk about. And God is the only thing I can tell you right now that got me through it.
Yeah.
God and a lot of prayer, because I had a bad postpartum depression with my second child, and it was a late postpartum depression. I didn't even know that it was possible. I mean, she was 8 months old, and I went through it. And then I've had little bouts of depression here and there, and I try to just like pick myself up out of it and pray about it, and that does help. But that's not, it's not going to be the answer for everybody, I'm sure. But God is, I'm telling you, if you pray about it, it will help you. People need to seek help. Otherwise, maybe if you know somebody that's going through depression, get them some help.
After her 8th child, she was okay.
No.
The Waltons. That's what we refer to.
Goodness.
And
But,
we don't see that, and I jokingly say that, but we don't see families anymore like the Waltons. That was a common thing back in the day because they helped, grow crops and feed the family. But you cannot afford that now. If you had a family of more than 2 kids, your grocery bill would be $600-700 a week just feeding the family.
Yeah.
And I watch these people that have like 9 wives on TV and think, how are they paying for that?
Well, just the disconnection of families too.
Yeah.
And this right here is like this one of these things right here.
Yeah.
It's like a number one cause. I'm guilty of it. How many of you have sat, in the bed with your husband and you're both like just scrolling, you're not even speaking, or in the house and people are all on a gadget or something like that,
Sometimes it's best not to speak to them just to cause a fight.
But no, seriously though, everybody's guilty of it. I'll go out and eat. Now, if I go, when I used to take my son, my little one, we'd go eat after I pick him up from school when he was younger. And I would make it a point not to pick my phone up and just sit there and talk to him, But I wanted to do that. But you see it all the time, though. Just the disconnection of society.
I got jumped on something. I don't even remember what she jumped on. I was minding my own business and picked up something.
I'm sure you didn't say anything that really set her off.
And I was like, let me go back to the studio. I'll see you later. I can't remember what it was that I was accused of, but I am pretty doggone sure I was innocent. I had to be. I don't cause commotions, not around here. No. Headlines, and as long as this has been going on, I mentioned this earlier, Candace, we are 2 years into this pandemic thing, whatever you want to call it. State of Mississippi has reached 50% of what they say is fully vaccinated for the state. 2 years to get to this point. And as I pointed out earlier, it's government distrust is why that number is not any higher. When the government speaks, it's getting to where America goes.
Well, and now that, people who have gotten the vaccine and gotten sick anyway, that really kind of, makes people wonder.
Now, as we talk about the vaccine, Joe Rogan, as we all found out that pretty boy, what was his name, Neil Young, takes his music away. And it did take a little bit of hit in shares of what was going on. But Joe, has he given in? He's been a spokesman for the other side of that of don't get your shot. He's going to start labeling all of his upcoming episodes with a warning that he's going to talk about COVID. Is that giving in? I don't know. But that's what one of the writers of the story that I read. Is it a sign that Joe gives in? I don't know. That's for you to decide. I put it out there. Bruce Springsteen, as I tried to say it, his guitarist also has his own music, has joined the list of, I'm going to drop Spotify if you don't get rid of Joe Rogan. They'll get rid of you too. He makes way too much money for them to get rid of. So get over it. You'll be all right. Let's see some other stories that are happening this morning. We brought this up. Do y'all remember the story in New York City where we showed the actual video of the guy stealing what he wanted out of New York City?
And the security guard just kind of stood there as he walked by?
Well, it was an actor, Michael, how do you pronounce that last name?
Rappaport.
No, I'm not sure what he does, what kind of actor he is.
He played a police officer or something on something. I'm trying to remember what.
Now, he was the guy that videoed this guy doing that. Do y'all know what has happened since he took that video? Well, the rest of the robbers' buddies, and again, you got to remember, anything $1,000 or less is not a crime. They don't do anything to you.
Right.
So the rest of his buddy, it didn't take but about 10 of those to come along and clean out a store. The store shelves are empty 100%. The store has closed and everyone has lost their job because of lawmakers. This is New York City. This is everybody lost their. How can we stand by and let this happen? I know that New York is different than Mississippi and Alabama and the Deep South. It doesn't matter. It's America.
Yeah.
They are putting us out of jobs. They will never work if they can get away with crime. We all know that. Something has to be done. Who's going to do it? I don't know. It's certainly not our current administration. And that's state level, too, now. Don't forget, that's on a state level.
Yeah.
This is awful.
I heard this morning where a business owner had drawn a weapon against the thieves and they ran off, you know. I think that needs to happen a lot more. I mean, I know that sounds...
I don't. It's.
But I don't think just standing there watching people take your stuff and
is right.
let them just walk off with it.
Now, the
right.
Deep South from Texas, if you look at a map from Texas as you go through Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, they have very, very strong gun protections. The Second Amendment is very strong. And if you'll notice here, no one is, they've picked on people, and I don't know that it's that they pray and they watch people they know that won't be armed that they jump out and try to rob. They don't necessarily go after that old boy that is protect the equalizer. That's a good way to say it there. They watch. They stand around on street corners and watch and see who is not protected. They know that a pizza delivery guy can't tote a gun for his job. They know that.
Right.
And they watch who he's selling to. They go, well, that person probably doesn't have anything. And so they go after that. The what do they call that? The low-lying fruit? Is that what it's called?
Or
Something
the vulnerable-looking people, you know,
Yeah, see, I wasn't going to say that word because I'd get all tongue-twisted. I was looking for a different word in my head as I talked. Here's just another thing. This isn't serious, but it gets under my crawl because a man is not supposed to be with child. Am I right?
Right.
God made man, he made woman, and man is not supposed to bear a child.
If you're biologically born a man, you ain't going to bear a child. I'm sorry. You're not.
But iPhones... Apple is going to release a new, how do you say this word?
Emoji.
That word. Onto your phone. You know those cute little things that you send to your friends of a pregnant man? There you go. I went ahead and said it. So now you know it's coming on your next update on your Apple product that you can send a picture emoji.
An emoji with a job.
Yeah, get a job.
Get a job emoji.
Can you believe this? There didn't, we're coming up, we're going to go over a few things that happened on this date. It's not a lot. January 31st, very few things did happen. But don't go anywhere. We're going to discuss all that. That's next coming up here as we go through this morning. The Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville is passing along these great savings. California Navel Oranges, 4-pound bag, $3.99. Large tomatoes, $1.69 a pound. Idaho potatoes, a 8-pound bag, $3.99. Skippy peanut butter, a 16-ounce jar, $2.49. Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, a 28-ounce jar, 2 for $5. And certified Angus beef ribeye steak family pack, $12.99 a pound.
We're down home, down the street, Piggly Wiggly.
If every time the wind blows you get a little leery about a tree over your house, talk to my friends at Reed Tree Service. There's no reason to be worried about a tree crashing through your house. Mike and Jake have years of experience of dealing with trees. It can be as simple as having a limb removed or a tree that is just huge too close to your shop or house. It's not going to cost you anything to have Mike come out and give you an estimate. They're licensed and insured, taking care of East Mississippi and West Alabama. Reed Tree Service. Have tree, will travel. And welcome back with Scotty Ray and Candace. As well, we've got the very last day of January with us now. This is it. Deer season ends today, so there's going to be a lot of people getting a cough about lunch.
Yeah.
I got to go home. So
I can't believe we haven't been one time, not even once.
Well, I went twice, and there was no reason to go. Yeah. But our friend Donovan, boy, he pulled it out. They hadn't killed a deer all year.
I saw
got lucky there.
Yeah, his daughter.
And he got one the next day.
It's good.
So congratulations there, Big Don. All right, as we go back at history, let's take a look at, it was 1973 that you would wake up, and this would be the #1 album in country. And maybe some of you will remember it, some of you won't. But Merle Haggard was such an influence on America, not only in country music. He is an American icon. And the name of the album was It's Not Love, but It's Not Bad. That means you just hooked up with somebody that you may not love.
Yeah.
It ain't bad. I hang with him a little bit longer there. Merle Haggard, boy, what a great album that was. That was in Merle's prime there.
I like Merle Haggard.
Oh, I do too. Now, let me look at this. Oh, yeah, we'll come back to that. 1981, and I remember the song very well.
Yeah.
I just don't know anything else the group done. Remember the group Blondie?
Yeah.
Okay, 1981, they had the number one song today. Who remembers the song, The Tide is High, but I'm moving?
Yeah, the tide is... I'm not going to sing it. But
It goes, the mood is moving. What was the next
now
one?
I'm going to have it stuck in my head all day, though.
That was just a good little sing-along song. That's why it became number one. Anybody remember that?
That was actually I'm going to be your number one. That was that was actually a verse in the song.
Let's see. Charlotte Gray says her husband just got a good 8 point.
That's good.
He can start on his honey-do list now. Gosh, I feel for him. Ooh, hang in there.
My honey is probably tired of doing like everything around the house. He's been working on stuff, and gosh, even when he was sick, he was still kind of like staying busy and trying to work on stuff. But we both were up and moving around because we didn't want to lay down.
I wonder if that has anything in those notes I've been getting in my mailbox that says payback is coming. No name attached to it, of course.
Probably so, yeah.
1981, and again, I don't listen to this guy's music, but a lot of you probably do. You know who he is, and I think he was born in Mississippi, Jackson, I think. Justin Timberlake was born in 81. Is he the one from NSYNC that was from there?
No, that was Lance Bass.
Okay, I was close. Take that back. Whoops.
Yeah. But now, I don't know where he's from. He might be from, I don't know that he's from Mississippi.
You're
though.
right. It was Bass.
He could be. Yeah, Lance Bass was from Mississippi, though. I know that.
Justin Timberlake. If anybody hangs with him, let us know where he hails from. And we go back to 2013. And let me say this. If you are a cop and you put on that badge and you head out every night, you never know what you're going to be having to do that night.
Right.
You're minding your own business. The next thing you know, Randy Travis is sitting next to you naked up in the car. Yeah, this happened on this
Smelling
day.
of alcohol.
I don't know if you watched the video to this, but
No.
Randy was drunker than Cooter Brown, buck naked in the middle of the street, and he'd been whooped. As you can see his face after they found him some clothes, and that's a cop. A
Somebody
picture.
whooped him and took his clothes.
I think he took them off because he felt the urge to run naked. He was kind of like Naked Man in Meridian there for a
Oh,
little
my
while.
goodness.
Now, we all suspect that Randy was, let me think, he was high.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was on
Probably.
some drugs.
Something.
Randy has, since then, he got saved, changed his life, and then he had that horrible stroke.
Yeah.
But if you have never watched the actual video of Randy running around naked, and they blur out things,
Yeah, I'll choose not to say that.
but that was why. And,
That would ruin my day, I think.
and does my memory serve me right that it was in the parking lot of a church? I almost think it was where he just lost it. And that was 2013 when all that went on there. And that kind of sums up, as I told you, there ain't a lot went on today. Randy Travis making the biggest news of this day in history.
Yes.
How does that make you feel?
Well, I could have done without knowing he was naked in the church parking lot, but was he trying to get washed in blood?
It may have been.
Not a good time.
This was right after what's her name dumped him, that he'd been married, that he'd been married to for so long. They had their issues there, and they parted, and it just never worked out right again after that. I hate that. That was just such a sheep kind of found him there and made him what he was.
He was having a hot flash, somebody said. Goodness.
I got to give y'all credit. That was funny. That
Bill Reinhart said Justin Timberlake is from Memphis, Tennessee.
okay, he's real close to.
He does have a southern accent, when he talks sometimes. So
Speaking of Memphis, yeah, you better be well protected in Memphis, Tennessee. I highly suggest filling up in Mississippi before you get near Memphis. Don't even slow down.
it makes me mad.
It has
so
changed.
that you can't even stop at a service station to get just get gas or
Your
run in
larger
and
cities
feel
have just turned
unsafe.
out to be magnets for crime. Your rural routes are still safe, but it just, what has happened to our city? So many people have got fed up with the crime. They moved out of it and, so to speak, turn the city over to crime.
Right.
Especially when you get to these LAs and large cities there. That's my 2 cents. And again, that's 2 cents. That's my thoughts. You may not agree with me. You may, whatever the case is, but that does happen.
Yeah.
We're going to have some updates coming from Godwin Cleaning Services in the next day or so. I got some new pictures of some new things and projects they've been working on. But, boy, they take care of you. Now, they're going to be focusing on businesses, getting you signed up there and getting you clean. Also, if you've got a home and you want to have it to where you never have to worry about it again, get on a schedule with them as they take care of so many different things here. Harry Mayer there, and I got a lot of other businesses we're going to be showing with this. Getting your brick clean, vinyl siding, all this sidewalks is kind of like the entry into your business to where you want to look clean.
Right, because a lot of sidewalks will get that gray look to it, like, dark gray, like it looks like mildew on it.
Yeah, kind of like that right there all over it.
Yeah.
And then you forget that it was ever a different color. Get it straightened out.
They can make it look new again. And, everybody's going to be getting ready for spring cleaning pretty soon. It'd be nice to have everything cleaned up. And
get on a schedule with them. Godwin Cleaning there. The number is 601-253-8262. Commercial, residential, they do windows. We'll talk more about that in the coming weeks here. See them. They'll help you from slate, shingle, asphalt, and make it look pretty again. See them. Get on that schedule for your brick, maybe your rocks, and those sidewalks. See them at Godwin Cleaning Services.
Coming home from work, I was involved in a multi-car wreck. It was obvious that I needed help.
I'm Mississippi Attorney Richard Schwartz. I'm proud to represent the people of the great state I call home. And if you need me, Mississippi, remember, one call, that's all.
Sanders Gas, Sanders Air and Heat is your full-service propane supplier since 1946. We take pride in ensuring reliable, friendly service to our customers. We also provide safety tune-ups related to propane, air conditioning, and heating systems, keeping our community efficient and safe. I'm Chuck Sanders, and yes, we're local.
Well, when things are going bad for you, you try to think of ways to make yourself look better to the general public there. Washington is just like anywhere else. They do the same there. Let's show you the picture of this first. Here we go. That's the new cat that has a residence at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Yeah, this was all a ploy by the Biden administration to, make his ratings better. So they got a cat.
What does that matter? Who cares if they got a cat?
Well,
I don't know how that
normally
makes things better.
Their thinking is that everybody that is a pet owner thinks, isn't that sweet? And they warm up to that person because they can identify with them. He, even after getting the cat, went and got more ice cream in sub-zero degree weather thinking that ice cream would help. Guess what? It didn't. You
know what I picture? I picture them getting a dog or a cat and just throwing them in a room somewhere and forgetting about them.
They do. The Secret Service has to take care of it.
Right. They don't even probably have anything to do with the animals. Who knows? I might be wrong. It might be curled up around his head in the bed. I don't know.
I doubt that. But they're calling, it was called the Biden reset, the January reset, and it's dubbed the dud. It done nothing for Joe. His ratings are tanking. Now, we're just going to get into something here. And most Fox News is reporting this. I hadn't seen it anywhere else, so I want to be honest about it. But they say, even Democrats are included in this poll, that says they think that Biden should consider all nominees, where it's a wording of, has he broken the law here with the Constitution?
I heard them.
You could say that you're going to put a man or a woman, but when you go to saying I'm going to put a certain race in there, that goes against the Constitution. Most Americans, I think it's 72% of Americans that they polled, again, this is from Fox, says that they think he should pick the right person for the job.
Well, I think so too. I mean, I just think I don't think that's right.
No. And I put this out there this morning. This is just a what if, and I need to post it. What if scenario, and a lot of you that were watching earlier this morning will go, ho, 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 ho. What if Biden were to appoint Kamala to the Supreme Court and then appoint Hillary as vice president and then step down? That's really not that far-fetched.
So when he stepped down, Hillary would become president.
There you go, for a battle for the presidency in 24 against Donald. Do you think that's possible?
I don't think she'll have a chance. It's like she did the last time, though.
What do you think of that scenario, though?
I mean, I've never thought of that.
It could happen.
Yeah, I just didn't. I don't know how things like that work, though. Like when you put somebody in this office and then they can, I don't know. I didn't realize, I guess he could appoint a new vice president.
He would give her
kind of
name
be like
and
a slap in the face to Kamala, though. You know, like, well, you ain't good enough for this office. I'm gonna stick you over here.
But
and then I'm
everybody
gonna
knows
replace
she's
you.
not.
Well, yeah,
And
obviously she's not.
They got to do
but
something.
But he's not either. I mean, you know,
they got to do something with her. It's just something to ponder on as you're up at this morning. Now, this poll here. Does anybody know where how do you pronounce that name? Is that Marquette? That word right there, Candace?
Marquette.
Marquette Law School is. Does anybody know where that is? Because they're the ones that done this survey, and I want to point out who did it. I don't believe it one iota. The headline from this story says Biden would beat Trump and DeSantis in a presidential election. If it was held today, Joe would get 43% of the vote, Donald would get 41%, and then the Florida governor would be so low on the poll that he wouldn't get anything. There is absolutely no way that I think if you were to hold a presidential election right now that he would beat Trump. I don't believe that.
No. He couldn't beat his way out of a wet paper bag right now. I'm sorry. He couldn't.
I tend to agree with you.
I mean, he don't even know what day of the week it is sometimes. He don't know where to walk in the door. I mean,
again, if you get a chance to look up who these people are, Marquette Law. I did not. I found this story this morning before we went live, and I didn't have time to investigate who they were. But that's the headlines on that. We are inches again away from something. We don't know what's going to go on over here in Ukraine. Yeah. Putin says he can wipe out their entire army in 2 days. It would be gone. He's got 130,000 soldiers there at the border. Joe is committed to only 1,000 to go over. And if you've been paying attention, NATO has not, and we remember this now, have not as a group decided what they want to do. And it's almost if the United States is by themselves on this. This could be ugly, is all I can say. I don't have the answer. I don't know what the future is, but it's not good. Now, as we look at this, Trump, it says a lot on this. He tells Biden that he needs to send our troops to the border and stay out of Ukraine. Do y'all agree? But this is going to affect gas and oil prices dramatically.
I think it's the scary feeling to think that nobody's backing you if you'd be over there doing it on your own. What does that tell you? I mean, are you walking into a situation where then everybody's going to turn on you?
Could be. Trump says it's a European problem. Stay out of it.
Right.
That's what he says.
Yeah, I think we need to take care of our own here and take care of our own borders before we start going and trying to solve everybody else's problems. I'm not saying don't.
Yeah, in all fairness, I don't know enough about foreign policy. I do not. Maybe y'all keep up with foreign and what the effects are if the United States doesn't do something. I don't know enough about these. I don't. I'm being as honest with you as I can. But it's scary for our guys to go fight another war that they're not going to have support from.
Right.
Open the pipeline. I agree with Eddie White on that. You tell him, brother. We need our oil back open in the United States.
We do. I mean, we need to become self-sufficient.
Ooh, this is not a shocker. When you read the headlines, and this is what American politics and people in the media want you to believe. Most Americans eyeball something, a headline, and it sticks in your head, and they know that. The headline reads, Republican New Hampshire governor breaks from Trump by saying January 6th rioters should be pardoned, because Trump said they should be pardoned. So he's breaking away from Trump and not going to support him for his presidential election. Well, him and the other lady, they were never Trump supporters to begin with. So their pulling away from Trump means absolutely nothing. Don't be deceived by headlines where they're trying to make you think that things are worse than they are. They wasn't going to help him to begin with.
Have you seen the stuff about Hunter Biden's, all the financial records and all that stuff being subpoenaed back a while back? I think it was in 18 or 19?
Yeah.
And it's really coming about now to where they're going to start this. They brought a grand jury in. They're going to go over all the documents, anything that had to do with any kind of financial records with Hunter Biden and Joe Biden's brother. Is it James Biden?
I don't even know his name.
I can't remember. Anyway, and then 2 other people also were involved in it. So I'm really wondering what's going to come to light with all that. But supposedly they had a number of different companies. Burisma was one of them, I think, that they were paid money from, and like it all has to do with China. All
right, and let me just throw a different scenario on what you're saying. Is the investigation just to say, hey, we investigated it, we didn't find anything?
I don't know, but you know that new book that's come out. Red-Handed, I think it's called, by that guy. I'm trying to think of what his last name is. I'll think of it in a minute. But anyway, it's a new book that's come out. And it's supposed to be like a tell-all book about how the Bidens were involved with China and all this kind of stuff. And I think it's really bringing all this stuff back up again. I think they've tried to deter away from that. They've tried to bring all this and this and this up, and Joe getting a cat and all that. I mean, who cares about that? We want to know the real, what's going on, with all that, because that Joe Biden's possibly
we know that.
could be.
Maybe I need to write a book of tell-all on Meridian.
Lord.
Somebody might pass out if I do that.
Nick
Nick Dowell tells us that Marquita's in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay.
So it's a Wisconsin slanted thing. Now,
somebody said you cannot appoint a non-elected person to a vice president.
but I would think that Congress would do it at that point. Or do you have an election? I thought they were appointed but I don't know that. Mm-hmm. Again, I don't know areas of the Constitution.
Do you have another runoff thing? I mean, you vote somebody else in? I don't know how that works. I would think that Kamala would have to go into the presidency if Biden stepped down.
Unless she was moved to a Supreme Court justice before. Yeah, if he steps down at this point, she's going to be your president. Only if that vice president is changed. And you're right, Eddie White. The Speaker of the House is third in line. That would be there. But can they appoint somebody other than that? I don't know. There's got to be somebody that knows Ted Cruz who can pick up the phone now and go, Ted, tell us. Because that man knows the Constitution better than anybody I've ever seen. He is really all over it. The Canadian truckers. This is a mess at the border to where United States truckers can't go back and forth across the border to deliver products if they have not gotten a COVID test. It is not a COVID test, but the shot.
Vaccine.
Vaccine. It is a blooming mess there. They're threatening $10,000 fines. And Trump is supporting the truckers. He's throwing his weight behind them. Save America is his new program there. We'll see what this happens over the next few days. But Canada, it ain't looking pretty over there. That's just a few thoughts going on right at the border there, where it's extremely cold.
Somebody said, how about all the farmland that we're selling to other countries? That is true. I heard that, like a year ago or more, that somewhere they were selling a bunch of farmland to China. Why? I mean, why would you do that?
Y'all would be even shocked of country.
Money, I'm sure, you know, but why?
But the American businesses that we think of as American products aren't necessarily owned by Americans anymore. They're owned by China and controlled by China. Name brands, and I'm not going to get into throwing out who they are without, I know some of them, but I'd have to have a list and go, all right, I know this for sure. But there's a lot of companies that you think are American that aren't anymore. They've sold out and walked away. It's
a sad day when a dollar bill, it means more than your country that you live in. Because I'm going to tell you, these people, these countries who are against the United States, want to come in and buy up land. Why? You got to think why. Like, we think about another country that doesn't like us taking us down, like coming into our country, like through a border, like military-wise.
Right.
This country, I think it could be taken down from within.
That's exactly the truth. You told it how it was, sister. That's what will get us.
At this point, they own so much of this country. It could be taken down probably,
Well, the left is really doing a great job of this because they're doing away with the laws. You can steal now and it's not against the law. You shoot somebody and they let you out within 24 hours. Where are we headed? Something to think on. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back with more for you right here with Scotty Ray and Candace as we kick off your last day of January here on this early Monday morning.
I'm Laura from Columbus, Mississippi, and it took one call and that was all. I called my Mississippi attorney, Richard Schwartz, and he got me $250,000.
If you need me, Mississippi, remember, one call, that's all.
Rock House Gun and Pawn is open Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. Lots of different calibers and brands to choose from when it comes to hunting rifles. Whether you're looking for a new pump shotgun or an AR, the Rock House will have the gun that you need. With a huge selection of ammunition for just about any caliber that you may be looking for. Pistols, scopes, and a whole lot more. Plus a private lobby for your confidentiality when it comes to your pawns. Rock House Gun and Pawn, located at 5430 Highway 19 North Meridian. I'm going to have to ask Candace to pronounce another name because I'll get his last name all mixed up. But Pete
Buttigieg, I guess.
Yeah. who I think took the
Weird.
last year off to be at home. Yeah. As he said he had COVID or something. He ain't really been working. But his plans are, and this is making Americans extreme, and beware of this. You know, these cameras and all these lawsuits have been put over. He wants to install nationwide, and other countries have attempted to do this. The UK has been doing it. They can't, it's just a war on people that drive in their cars. $56 million is what it cost drivers in the UK last year for tickets. They set up cameras on a nationwide string and send you a ticket in the mail. He wants to install that throughout America. Do y'all want this? Sounds like it may be time for a change in Washington. That's just my...
Many of them. Many changes.
And if you've been looking for a sideline business, boy, if we got the right one for you, the key to this is not getting caught at what you do. Some nurses, well, they're going to the pokey over this. They thought, why not make some extra cash and charge? I think it was $850, and then it was cheaper for a kid. But if you wanted a vaccine card, come to them. You had to pay in cash. They were busted. An investigation into it. $1.3 million when they raided the house. $900,000 in hard cold cash. They did find.
Goodness.
Oh, and her husband was a cop too. Ouch. Ooh, that hurt.
Yeah.
She was a pediatric nurse. That was a pretty good little scam, right up until the time she got caught. I'm not sure what caused her to get caught, but word would have to spread quickly if you were doing that. And then eventually somebody on the other side that wants to take you down is going to find out about it. Well, anyway, it did happen. Let's see here. Do you remember the Washington State police officer who told the governor, Jay, to kiss his hiney as he quit his job over the COVID?
Right. I do remember that.
He got on the radio and done that.
It was a video of it. Yeah.
He passed away this last week from COVID. That is sad. Again, you're right to choose whether you want the shot or not, but that's what happened to that cop. I hate that. Kid Rock says, I ain't coming to your stadium and play if you have mandates on people having to wear masks. I'm not going to play your venue. So Kid Rock, and as we all listen to his new song that is kind of vulgar.
Yeah, I did listen to it. I mean, again, why do you have to put all that in it?
Yeah.
The
ending was good there with the chant of Go Brandon.
Well, it was a little more calm at the end of the song.
But you never have to worry what Kid Rock is thinking because he will tell you. Just listen to any of his music there. And again, that's one of those songs where Kid, to me, really didn't sing. He just screamed.
Yelled out. Yeah, just screamed stuff.
Yeah, that was not singing to me. No. But he's got a song out there if you'd like to check into that. A couple of other things that are going on. This is just awful that we have people like this that work in our school systems and influence our children. But a New York teacher, and I can't pronounce this word, but I'll read you what he really done. He posted on, I think it was Twitter. He showed a picture, an overview of the funeral of the cop that was killed, and he posted a shot, and it says thousands of authors outside of the thing. And he said, what if somebody were to attack them? He was implying that the police officers should be. Do you remember how when the pandemic started and people stood in front of the police cars and they were easing up forward? They didn't hurt anybody, but he was saying people are driving to the crowd of the cops is what he was getting at with his post. Is he going to be fired? I don't know. But here's the teacher here. No, that's him right there. Christopher Flanagan.
So it was the ideal condition for reciprocity.
I don't agree with him.
Yeah.
And he was basically implying harm the cops. We don't need people like that near our children. I'm just saying. Yeah. Maybe you agree with me. Maybe you don't. I just don't think that's right at all. But we'll see where that heads to. You remember the Duggars last week? We got just enough time to tell this story there where they were coming in, John David and his wife, and they said that they had plane troubles. Both engines quit. Yet again, don't believe everything you read. He just forgot to fill up the tanks.
They ran out of gas.
Yeah. If you have an airplane, John Denver died that way.
If you are flying an airplane, wouldn't one of the main things you want to check on is the gas?
Yeah, that's why they ask you how much you weigh before you get on a plane.
Right.
If it's a private plane, because they want to know how far they can go with you.
I mean, you need to do that in a car, but when you're in the air.
Yeah, you don't just coast to the side of the road.
Yeah, let's just take a chance on that. We might make it.
We want to say thank y'all for coming by and spending time with us on a Monday morning. It has gone so fast.
It has. It's flown by, and, We'll be back tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Hope everybody has a great, safe day today.
Yes. We'll see you then. And thank y'all so much for being a part of this. We can't do it without you. Again, tomorrow morning we return.
Scotty Ray's Weather is brought to you by